Hello students, welcome back to history class. Today let us continue unit 8 and today we are going to discuss about the farmers and workers protest and the tribal revolts. And the protests organized by the farmers and the workers are equally important in the history of India's national freedom struggle, and some of these associations were influenced by the Congress and some were influenced by the Marxist ideologies. During the British administration, many farmers protested against the British planters and zamindars, and they opposed to growing of indigo in Champaran district, and they were against land tax policy also. And Gandhiji involved in this problem, and he convinced the British officers through his satyagraha to withdraw the taxes of these farmers. And the Indian National Congress, they tried to organize the farmers as the part of their national freedom struggle. They wanted to include the farmers also in the national freedom struggle. And Gandhiji's influence was visibly active in the Champaran movement and the Kheda and other places where the farmers organized protests. In these all areas, farmers organized protest against the British. There all Gandhiji's influence was very actively influenced Gandhiji. Okay. Now farmers of Teba, Malabar and other places, they also revolted against the British and the zamindars, and they were influenced by the Congress. The issues of the farmers found themselves, they intermingled with the problems focused on the movement like non-cooperation movement, tax refusal and quit India movements. And many of the farmers' protests were organized under the banner of the Kisan Sabha, and which was influenced by the leftist ideologists. And these protests were, most of the time these protests were in the favor of the Congress, and sometimes it stood against the Congress. In Telangana, farmers protested against the zamindars and Nizam's razads. Nizam means the ruler of Telangana, means Hyderabad region. And the farmers of Bengal, they also protested against the zamindars. And in Maharashtra, farmers protested against low wages for them. These are the mainly the farmers' revolt. And next we have to go for the workers' revolt. Next one is workers' revolt, and the workers' struggle started in Calcutta in 1827, and the workers of jute and cotton mill, and they started protest against the British, and the railway workers also, they protested against the British, and they held their protest in railway station, and they made some slogans against the British officers. And the printers union in Calcutta and the cotton mill workers of Bombay, they also created national awareness. A labor union was founded in Madras. Labor union means to discuss the problems of the laborers, and later many workers association also started, and the Congress supported like that workers unions, and the contribution of workers and their unions are very unique. Next we have to learn about the tribal revolts. The tax and the forest policies they implemented by the British were the reasons for the tribal revolts. Means this British started to rule India. That time they made so many tax and forest rules they implemented, and this was the reason for the revolt of the tribal people. Among them, revolts of Chandala, Kola, Munda are very important. Alagalli Beda's revolt of Karnataka is another important revolt. The revolt of Chandala tribe is considered as the important revolt in India. The important tribal revolt in India is the revolt of Chandala. The revolt of Chandala tribe are the Chandala tribes are present in the hilly areas of Bengal. They were lived in the hilly areas, forest areas of the Bengal and Odisha state. And the implementation of permanent zamindari system, these people became landless, and the land developed by them, this tribal people, was taken over by the zamindars, because of this only they became landless. The zamindars, money lenders, and the company government, means British, they started to exploit these Sandala tribes, and their peace and their innocence and loving nature and civilized manners, these all were exploited by the government. These incidents and all upset the Sandalas, and they met secretly and decided to make a revolt against the British government and the Zamindars, and they decided to loot the Zamindars and the moneylenders, and the revolt was severe in Bhagatpur and Rajmahal areas. Because of this result, tribal people killed their enemies, and they frightened the because of this revolt, the moneylenders and zamindars were frightened, and they ran away from these areas. So the revolt of Chandala came to an end. It became the inspiration of many revolts in future. Similarly, Kola and Munda revolt against the zamindars. Understood now? And today we discussed farmers and workers protest, workers revolt, and the tribal revolts. And next class we will discuss the another topic like Subhash Chandra Bose, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay. Thank you, students.